this something you see more often where people are going from town to town? Is it kind of more prevalent, or is it just?
Well, I've certainly seen it going back in my career, back to my early days as an investigator when I was in Markham. We'd have similar types of things. But this has been an increase for us here right now, in that we've had two within weeks of each other, both occurring at some of our big box stores. Most people, I think, would equate shoplifting to sort of those survival type crimes, right? This is clearly organized crime. This is not just shoplifting something to eat, something to put food on the table, something to support a habit. This is, quite frankly, in it for profit.
Is there a seasonal aspect to it? Do you see more of this around this time of year?
I don't know that we could say that there's a seasonal aspect. Great question, because our shoplifting ring at the Shoppers Drug Marts took place in the summertime, right? So I think it's more a case of opportunity and exploiting stores, busy big stores, where maybe they feel that there's a less attention paid to the number of and the volume of customers that are in the stores, and an easier access and egress routes. As we can see, the work of a loss prevention officer is really what was able to make the difference in this case.
Why might the accused her ultimate GTA visit this community and other?
Well, great question, Jermaine. Thanks for that. Because as I've mentioned here before, our proximity to the city does not protect us from the types of crimes that we might see in large urban city centers. We're an hour down the road, access to the highway, which is fantastic from a commuter's and a work perspective, but it also is a facilitated route in and out of the city for those that would want to engage in criminal activity in our community and then escape and leave without any sort of connection or trace to the community itself. So it is concerning. It is something that we've seen here, not just in organized retail thefts, but as you will have heard me talk about, some of the violent incidents in our city, people that are bringing their crime to the city of Peterborough.
How many crimes in total have
That's a great question that we're working on with the investigators from other GTA police services. What's kind of unique in this situation is these three people were held in custody. And we don't often see that related to property crimes. In fact, I believe they're up today. They're making another court appearance here today. So that really does speak to the nature of the types of crimes that we're seeing here. Yes, it's a property crime, but it's organized in nature. We know that the two that were arrested earlier in November were wanted by a series of police services. And in fact, one of them, I reached out to the chief of Peel to let him know personally that these individuals who were involved in occurrences in Peel region and were out on bail conditions for violence related to some of their activities had been arrested in Peterborough, so that they too could begin their investigation and how they could connect them to further crimes in their community.
What do you suspect they wanted to do?
Well, clearly this is for profit. This is not going to be a Christmas present. I mean, this is probably something that's going to appear somewhere on different third-party for sale, different sites, websites. You think about some of those aftermarket or marketplace type sales. So, this is one of those cases where we say if a deal is too good to be true, it probably is. Something like this that might appear in one of those types of third-party retail sites is likely somebody who's buying stolen merchandise.
Besides trying to hide stolen property in that dress,
Mm-hmm.
what was the other method?
Well, in some cases, they'll conceal it in their clothes. If you'll recall the one in November, they were just loading up a shopping cart and just going to walk right out the front door with a shopping cart full of stolen merchandise. Some of them are that brazen and that bold, right? So in this particular case, it was a bit of both, but also really, as you can see here, trying to conceal in the clothing of more than just one person.